Jamming with Dr. Terri, where JAM stands for Jesus and Me. Hi, I'm Dr. Terri, Children's Pastor for Faithful Central Bible Church. Children, have you ever misplaced something? Maybe it was a toy you were playing with or the TV remote control. Sometimes parents misplace things. Maybe it's their car keys or their eyeglasses. I know I've done that. So what do you do when you misplace something? We usually go back to the places we've been until we find what we're looking for. Today's Life of Jesus story is about Jesus as a boy. In our Bible lesson, we'll learn about some parents who misplaced something. Now, these weren't just any parents. They were Mary and Joseph, the parents of Jesus. Mary and Joseph didn't misplace something like their keys or their eyeglasses. They misplaced Jesus. Can you imagine losing Jesus? Here's how it happened. Mary and Joseph went to Jerusalem every year for a big celebration. It's called the Feast of the Passover. When Jesus was 12 years old, they went up to Jerusalem just like they always did. After the celebration was over, Mary and Joseph, they started their journey back home, but Jesus wasn't with them. He stayed behind in Jerusalem, but Mary and Joseph didn't even know. They thought that maybe he were with some friends or some family members who were traveling with them. After they had traveled a whole day to get back home, they began to look for Jesus. They were asking their relatives and their friends if they'd seen him, but he wasn't there. When they couldn't find him, they decided to go back to Jerusalem to look for him. After searching for Jesus, not one, not two, but 3 whole days, they finally found him. Guess where he was? He was in the temple, sitting in the midst of the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. When Mary and Joseph saw him, they couldn't believe it. Mary asked him, "Son, why have you treated us this way? Your father and I were looking for you." Did you know what Jesus said to his mother? He said, "Why were you looking for me? Didn't you know I would be in my Father's house?" Now, children, I am not suggesting that you get separated from your parents. You stay very close to them at all times. You see, Jesus, even as a child, he knew that he must follow God. And at that moment, the most important place for him to be was in his Father's house. Even though Jesus was the Son of God, he still studied God's word to learn what it said and to obey God. Children, Jesus set the very example for us. So guess what? We have to study God's word. Check the story out for yourself. You can read it in Luke chapter 2, verses 41 to 52. You know, sometimes we lose Jesus. Now, what do you mean, Dr. Terri? How can we lose Jesus? Well, we get so busy in our daily routine, and sometimes we forget to think about him. Then one day we realize that he's missing in our lives. And do you know what we need to do then? We need to go back to the place where we left him. When Jesus' parents couldn't find him, he was in the temple. That's the church. Now, I know, we can't go into the church building right now, but we can find Jesus inside of our hearts. We can also find him in God's word, in the Bible. So children, let's not lose Jesus. Let's be like him by studying his word, by praying, by praising and worshiping him so that we find peace, love, and joy. Thank you for joining me today. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. I'm Dr. Terri, and I'll see you next time to learn more about the life of Jesus.